Built during the mid-15th century, this magnificent castle behind me was once the stronghold of the powerful Campbell clan. With its strategic position on Loch Fyne, it was a symbol of the clan's growing supremacy and a base from which to wage a blood-soaked quest for more land. Where am I? Find out as we escape to the country. On today's show, I'll be helping a couple realise their grand vision of finding a Scottish retreat. They're quite daunted at first.
It's so massive! I don't know if I can take it in.
But living like Lord and Lady seems to grow on them. It's gone from an interesting to a woohoo! And then there's our mystery house, which will certainly require some blue sky thinking. I'm in Scotland, in the region of Argyll and Bute, and behind me the remains of Kilkerne Castle. Thirsty for power, the Campbells formed a strong allegiance with Scottish kings and began a 400-year-long feud with their neighbours, the MacDonald and the MacGregor clans. Well, with royalty on their side, they stripped away enemy land and through bloodshed expanded their own empire. So these ruins behind me not only act as a reminder of the area's rich history, they're also a perfect place from which to start our own house hunt with, hopefully, a little less bloodshed. Characterised by its sea lochs, mountains and scattering of islands, Argyll serves up a remote yet dramatic landscape on which centuries of civil unrest have been played out, including wars of independence in the 14th century. It was this victory that secured the fortunes of the Campbell family, who were ennobled as the Dukes of Argyll, and to this day are major landowners in the region. As the third least populated county in Scotland, well over 3/4 of its residents live within easy reach of its coastal villages and towns, such as the pretty Georgian town of Inveraray on the shores of Loch Fyne. And as we'll see, these glorious lochside locations will be a recurring theme in today's house search. Anyone interested in becoming Lord of the Manor here in Scotland should be aware that there's a different buying procedure. For instance, all offers have to go through a solicitor, which moves the process along quicker. It also means that gazumping is virtually impossible, as contracts are binding. Another thing to remember is that properties are advertised at the minimum asking price, which means you've got to offer more than that if you're going to acquire your dream home here. Just look at that. It's worth it, isn't it? It's a big budget, but for £895,000, this 7-bedroom Edwardian country house near Benderloch does give you a lot for your money. Its 4 stylishly decorated reception rooms have coastal views over your very own private beach. Or there's this 1850s Victorian villa in Blairmore for £675,000, with impressive high ceilings and bay windows in its living areas, along with stunning views over the Clyde estuary. This charming 3-bedroom cottage in Rothesay on the Isle of Bute could be yours for £320,000. There's a cosy sitting room, and outside the patio overlooks open countryside. There are some stunning properties out here in Argyll, and if it's space you're after, you're in the right place. But will the peace and tranquility be enough to tempt this week's high-flying couple? Leah, a senior air stewardess, and Raymond, a former businessman, have lived in their 4-bedroom property on the outskirts of Glasgow with Leah's daughter Molly for 12 years. But Raymond's recent hobby has turned into an all-consuming obsession, which is a driving factor in their move to the country.
What triggered this was Leah buying me a set of oil paints back in 2002. That gave me the opportunity to pick up this hobby of painting, and I took it with a passion. I really want to try and push this dream of having an artist retreat.
You have the business expertise,
and you've got the
and I have the front of house
customer care.
So hopefully that'll work well together.
But the dream team seem to disagree on the perfect location.
I would like to be closer to a village because of Molly, 1, and 2, I'm a very sociable person and I don't want to be too isolated. Where Raymond, I think you'd rather be.
I've always dreamed
there.
of something far more remote than what Leah would settle for. Ideally, we would love somewhere with a mountain view, with maybe a loch or a glen.
But they hold the same vision for their perfect property.
We're very flexible because we know what we're looking for isn't out there as we envisage it. We need a starting block that we can then create the dream that we have. And we know we have to build that.
They're flexible about the business, which is good news. But what are they looking for in their dream home?
3-bedroom minimum, detached, a couple of acres, nice tranquil location, not too rural, studio space and outbuildings with development potential.
And there are 2 rooms that will need special attention.
Here we are in my studio, but it's just not big enough. It's just not got the capacity that I need. The light's not very good. Hopefully we're going to find somewhere that's got a far bigger studio space that can accommodate maybe 12 artists.
So this is our kitchen. As you can see, it's not the biggest of kitchens. Myself and Raymond both love to cook, and we just end up getting in each other's way. Storage isn't great in this kitchen, so ideally a big dining kitchen that we can all sit around and socialise would be great.
With their current property valued at £370,000 and on the market, they're in a strong financial position. So what's the budget for their next move?
Our budget for this property is £500,000 with a further £150,000 towards developing the business.
Raymond and Leah have a huge wish list for their family and business needs. But house prices in Argyll do work in our favour, so they'll get more for their money here than in neighbouring counties. And they seem happy to cast their net wide, so we'll draw a fairly big circle around the town of Inverary, keeping lochside locations firmly in mind. I'll be showing them some prize properties in the area, but as ever, I won't be revealing the price until they've had a guess first. Last but not least, there's the ultimate challenge in the form of the mystery house. Hey, Leah.
Hi.
Raymond, good to see you.
Good to see you.
How are you?
Good.
You've brought the fine weather with you.
Oh, we have. It's
indeed.
beautiful.
Long may it continue, that's what I say. Are you ready to make this gargantuan leap then from what, Glasgow to Argyll?
Yes.
Ready and willing.
I make a joke of it. It's only about, what, an hour and a half or something like that in the car, isn't it?
It's actually not too bad at all.
But it's a different way of life.
Completely.
You're going to give up the high life?
Maybe.
Maybe, okay.
It depends on what you find.
She's quite cagey, isn't she?
She is.
Keeps her cards close to her chest, this one. But it's a big ask for you, isn't it? You see the world in your job.
I know, but I think it's time for me to wind down a little bit. And what better place than Argyll?
Let's talk about the budget. Still 500 grand?
£500,000, and we've got about 150 thereabouts to develop the idea further if we don't find it within the 500,000 mark.
Okay.
So that's the kind of ballpark figure.
And any rush or anything like that?
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, put it this way, we've been looking for 3 years, so...
Right, so you're picky.
No, but we know what we want.
Okay.
So, and we just haven't been able to find it, and that's why we need your help.
Well, should we get on with it then? Come on, let's go. For their £500,000 budget, Raymond and air stewardess Leah are looking for a period property with business potential that will give them a large family kitchen diner, an artist studio for Raymond, 3 bedrooms for the family and separate accommodation for up to 12 guests, along with a couple of acres all wrapped up in a stunning setting that will deliver their vision for the artist's retreat. We're kicking off our property search in the village of Loch Fyne, which gained a reputation back in the 1820s as a summer holiday retreat with its beautiful setting looking out over the Gairloch. And Leah should like the sense of community here too. Along with a few shops, there's a local primary school for Molly. Just on the edge of the village, our first property was in fact a wealthy tea merchant's holiday home, built back in 1865. And over the past 7 years, it's been restored to its former glory.
Stone's lovely, isn't it?
That's fantastic.
Not a bad view either, eh?
It's very unique, this position. No, this is very interesting indeed.
And I've grown up by the sea, and it's always something I've wanted to move back to.
Do you know what I love about you? You're saying all the right things already.
I know.
Big enough for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it?
You can't wait to get in there.
Taking me in.
Come on then, I can do that. Follow me. From the outside, this property certainly has loads of historic appeal. And the inside, well, it's just as impressive. Come on in, don't be shy. It is what you call a very big hallway.
Yes. The wood is really nice.
It's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very
And
deceptive.
look at the staircase.
What do you make of it?
This is fantastic so far.
Great first impressions.
It's
walking in.
positive, positive, positive.
But what I love about both of you, you're both backing off. It's so massive. I don't know if I can take it in. It'll be fine. It could be yours, you know.
Could be.
Well, if they're overwhelmed by the hallway, the other living spaces will definitely knock their socks off.
It's fantastic. Look at the view.
Brilliant light, fantastic light in here with all the windows.
There speaks an artist.
Yeah.
Well, at the moment it's a living room, but it could be a studio.
Look at the fireplace. There's so much to take in.
Just off the living room is a lovely conservatory with terrific views of the loch. But there's much more in store.
No, there's a shock.
Yeah, welcome to your very own consecrated Masonic lodge, believe it or not.
I'm speechless.
This is very William Wallace, 20th century.
Yes. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
You've got the original Victorian windows in the top there, letting in so much light.
Yeah.
This is actually perfect conditions to use as a studio.
Really?
Yeah. This
the light.
this is better.
You have literally become speechless.
No, I have become speechless.
Do you not like it?
No, I do like it. It's just...
It's just so out there. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just...
You don't expect it when you
not,
open those
it's
doors.
not what I
This is-
expected at all.
It's honestly, this is amazing.
They're completely blown away by this room as a possible studio. And yet more surprises. There's a bar next door where their guests could enjoy a wee dram after a hard day's painting. Back through the conservatory is a cosy, inviting living room, which could be a great family hangout for them and Molly. However, for such a large proportioned house, the kitchen may come as a bit of a shock.